Welcome to AI Tool Time. Welcome to AI Tool Time. Rick McCauley's here, your AI guide on the side, showing tools that'll make your imagination come alive. From perplexities, deep research to ChatGPT's mic, creating wonders with text prompts, bringing dreams to life. It's AI Tool Time. AI Tool Time. With the AI guide. With the AI guide. Your guide to making magic come true. If you can dream it, just say it. 3 wishes from the tech genie, and watch what these tools can do. 30 minutes to master, tools to explore. Let your imagination soar like never before. AI Tool Time with Rick McCauley, where your digital dreams come true.
That's it. So we got tool time today, and guess what we're talking about? ChatGPT. Just to get us started, let's talk about what is probably the largest and definitely we got 1 billion people using it every week or every month, I think, something like that. It is far in advance of every large language model as popularity. It's probably the thing that you learned about AI first from. And so I fed in all the information about what were the training methodologies for ChatGPT and personality, and it spit out these 2 individuals. So ChatGPT kind of combines the versatility and humor, I might add, of Robin Williams with an empathetic insight of Oprah Winfrey, adapting seamlessly to diverse conversations. Recently, you may have heard that it got a little sycophantic and it would tell you, oh my God, you're most amazing. Now, what was really kind of sad about that is it would every time, oh, that's the most brilliant thing I've ever heard of, Rick. And I felt like my mom was standing there. Rest her soul. It was like, she would always say that no matter what harebrained idea. Oh, that's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see what you do with that, But it is a belief in you that is kind of nice. Some people loved it. Some people hated it. I kind of like it. It's not the only one. I use 27 different tools for making images, videos, for even because of the difference in personality. So tonight, like we did over the last couple of weeks, we talked about Notebook LM last week. And before that, we went into a deep dive on Perplexity. You can watch both of those. They've been carved down into a 30-minute segment, which this will be too. And in the notes on the YouTube channel, Rick McCauley, spell my name right, and you'll get there. You're going to find a little gem, which is a packet of a PDF about 30, 40 pages with all kinds of links, all kinds of information, and these exact slides that you're seeing right here, as well as a bunch of other resources, all for free. You're welcome. So I want to go through what it is about these, and you may know some things about it. And you've heard recently 5.0 comes out. Well, what does that mean? So we're going to talk tonight about a few things. One of them is, how do you use these tools effectively? How do you get the most out of it? And what are you using them for? Am I using the right tool? Do I need Robin Williams, right, for everything? Do I need Oprah Winfrey for some things? So we're going to talk to you about your personality, your perspective at which you approach whatever large language model it is. Last week, I compared the Google Notebook LM to the Alexandria library, the one where every single piece of parchment from Aristotle to Egyptians to everything would go through this one city. And when the ships came there, the monks and the scribes would sit there and duplicate. It was like a Napster moment where they grabbed everything. So if you're an educator, you could take all the works of every philosopher who's ever existed, ingest it into this library, and then query it and create a rubric, create a 16-week course. And I've actually done it. So if you look earlier in the show, you saw the links to that whole thing about Palantir and about copyright, which I talked about. If you're an educator and you want, I'll send you all the links that I have. You can share with me as we go construct these libraries on specific projects. And it's a spectacular tool. What's this for? Everyday use. What else is it for? Well, you could just point at it and say, hey, I just bought this thing. How do I set up a NAS drive, right? So I have a network server hard drive and I want to set it up. And it can watch you in real time, multimedia, see what you do, and then tell it what to do. So we're going to talk about the different models. We're going to talk about things to do to keep you safe and secure. Don't be sharing some private information if you haven't paid for it. You are the product. And then different prompting methodologies that you get the most out of it. The basics, you're basically going through and asking for different things. Here's the typical way that you should be talking to all large language models. All I'm going to do is fine tune it a little bit so you know what different ways you could do. So act as my social media manager, and you're the best social media manager in the world. And I have a sneaker company and I want to sell more sneakers. Tell me what time to post and what to do. So I create a task. I've got this new bunch of sneakers and it's a half off sale. And in the past, I've been successful doing this or that. Then tell it, create a social media. Give me hashtags, get me what times a day would be most effective. And it'll ask you, well, what's your client base? What age are they? And what platforms are they on? In fact, if you say your clients are 65 years old, it's Facebook. If you say they're 18 or 15 to 24, then it's TikTok. So you got to figure out that it is an expert, literally a gold medalist in every phase of humanity, but you got to tell it what to do and act as a role of does that. Create a task, tell it exactly what you want to do. I want to come up with hashtags. I want you to do all the things. In fact, here's my favorite question. What does a social media manager do? And what would the best in the world want to do for me that I don't even know what I need? That is the number one prompt, I swear to you. And then I end every conversation, no matter what. That's my last question. Of all the conversations for 5 hours we just had, what's the one thing I didn't think about asking that could be valuable to me? That is the most important prompt of your life. I definitely the format you want it. Do I want this as a website? Do I want it as a table? Do I want it as an app? So now you can code an app by just talking to it. Oh boy, set the guidelines to make sure what to avoid. When it was making pictures for me, it kept making square pictures, and I wanted horizontal. Still some problems with ChatGPT and doing some of those things, and then penalize it. Tell it when it does wrong. Don't be rude. It's never shut me down, but critique it. Say, hey, I really like what you did, but I see no emotion in this, and that's what I was talking about earlier. I said to it literally like this. This is like chocolate and vanilla. I want an image that feels like there's some sprinkles on top and there's a sweet tart inside, right? Cool. And then it will get it. And then it'll come back and say, oh, I'm sorry. Now I understand what you wanted. So be very clear. Critique it afterwards. Summarize it. Turn long text into, so explain it like I'm 5 years old. So these are all different kinds of techniques. And here's a bunch more. And you'll find this all over the internet. I like to use metaphorical image making. That's what I call it. So give me a picture that's a great metaphor for the idea of this social media post. I do 4 of those every single day. Follow me on Facebook and anywhere else that you could. So it looks like we've got some people joining in. Okay. And then here's your basic sort of thing. So act as a CEO, act as an inventor, act as a journalist, and then create a task, an essay, a recipe, ad copy, SEO keywords, etc. And then show it in the format of, there we go. So that's RTF. That's it. And then one thing I would add to this is give them an example of exactly what you mean. Because sometimes you say, well, I want it in the form of a PDF, but how do you want it structured? Do you want big headlines in yellow text followed by a dark background and this or that? Get specific because only you know what you want and then critique it to get better. I say you're like this. You are Steven Spielberg. And the idea is you are directing the filmmaker. You're watching the rushes. Hey, I like what you did yesterday. Let's reshoot that scene, right? They're the critic. They're the auteur. They're the person that knows how to put it all together. That's what a director does. You are a director of the language you use with the most powerful brain in the world. All the knowledge out there. And the only thing you got to do is come up with spectacular questions. So being a journalist definitely gives me a heads up there. So literally, I'm presenting Upskill USA and the florist. So I literally on my phone, I have Perplexity only. That's all I had on my phone. I'm standing in front of 100 people and I'm thinking, God, I hope I don't mess this up. So I came up to her and I said, hey, would you mind being a demo with me? And I said, what kind of problem do you have coming up? And she says, oh, it's Mother's Day. in a week. Yes, perfect. Okay. So I didn't tell her what I was going to do, but I got there, says, and I asked her some specifics about what she's doing. I own a Coral Springs florist and preparing for Mother's Day. It goes on for a little bit, but literally in 5 minutes of question and answer, and act as a floral business consultant, an expert on social media consultant. There's the what I want you to act as, right? The result is I want 3 floral arrangements, the most popular according to FD, the florist council or whatever, last year at 3 price points. Because I talked to her. Usually, there's ones that you get for your if you're a husband, you get it because the kids are small and you have it at breakfast. So that specific is a morning sort of arrangement of flowers. So that's different than the dinner that you have with grandma when you all go over to the house. That's a different floral arrangement. Give me 3 price points because you can afford different things at different times of your life. So think about that. And then, in fact, I went even further. I said, tell me how to design it, where to buy it from. And she found out after the second prompt I did, the people she was buying it from were not the least expensive. And the people that she was having arrange them for her were not the. So I basically gave her $2,000 worth of consulting, and she made $10,000 more money that Mother's Day. So what did it do? It generated this image. And what did it do? All the hashtags. So here's the description. This is what I got from just what you saw there, right? The arrangement captures the warm hues of the sunrise, bright. So that's the morning breakfast one, right? The sunrise serenade. Gave it a name, gave it a marketing strategy, positioned as a luxury gift for adventurous moms who love bold colors and tropical themes. Oh, no, that was the second one. And then I said, translate it into Spanish, pick a piece of music that would be great that I can get on Instagram, and then give me everything else. There you go. That's it. Now, I put this together as a mock-up, but it literally took me 10 minutes. So that's what we're doing here. So now what I want you to think about, remember we said, hey, act as George Lucas. That's the storyteller. A people reader, someone who's really good at sales and marketing. Okay. So you take the direction for what you're trying to do. Me, I'm a fire starter. Every day I pick a really amazing story that I'm moved by, something I'm worried about, whatever it is. And I just go say, hey, show me how I can get people excited about this. So we're going to show you a couple of prompts here. And then I'm going to go do a couple just to kind of demonstrate it. So this is what a fire starter does. And somehow my copy is off there a little bit, but it's a rebel, right? And I want to write a certain way. In fact, I have a dangerous man prompt, and I'm going to show you how to set up the personality inside of ChatGPT. And sorry, you can't kind of read this. Detective. So I've got a prompt definitions, what it is. And I did all this basically by deciding. So what I'm going to do now is share my screen. And we're going to go here and share screen. And then the entire screen. Give me a second. How do I share audio with share tab? Choose the screen. Okay, share entire screen. And do I have audio and everything here? I hope. I don't know why I can't see my. There we go. I'm not sure why I'm not seeing. Oh, there it is. Okay. So here we are. I'm going to start just a new ChatGPT. So a couple of things to get you started. Number one is come down here and set your settings. Now, if you're paying for it, you pay $20 a month, and you're going to get all of this stuff. Okay. Now, if you're paying for it, that means that you can choose not to use it for training. So one of the things you want to do right up front is security for yourself. You can log out anytime. You can go into multi-platform authentication. If you're using it for free, they are then using it to train themselves. You can use Sora for making videos in here. You can use the code agent. You can come in here and also take all of every conversation sent to you. I do this at least once a month. So I literally have everything I've ever said back and forth, and it's in my domain. Then you can go delete it, or it's got a large context window, so it's going to remember everything. And then when I come up here to this section, I can log out of other devices. I can make sure that it's safe. And then here's the favorite one right here. If you don't want it to improve the model, that means it will take your information. It is secure. according to almost everything. You can learn more right here. Please do. It will hurt you if you don't. And take yourself off that list. So you want a private conversation? I'm talking about medications. I'm talking about a girlfriend, private information I don't want to share. Just turn that off. It doesn't hurt because your local information about who you are, as I'll show you in a minute, is local to your device. So that doesn't all go out there. Only when it's being transmitted from your computer to the cloud. And ChatGPT now has an on-device version of this that you might see in Apple products coming soon, and many others, as they've made a deal with Claude today. Stay tuned because that's about to change everything. Voice mode includes your audio recordings and video recordings. You can turn that on or off. So I suggest not to. So go in there and the shared links. Let's make sure we are aware of where that's going. And it can use a remote browser because it can act on your behalf. You can archive everything and you can delete them all, or you can export. This is the export I'm talking about. So in 24 hours, it'll send you everything you've ever said. That's pretty cool. So if you did want to get rid of some old stuff that you don't want to be out there, that's the way to do it. Schedules. So you can actually have it manage your schedule now. That means look at your calendars. Connectors. This is amazing. I love this myself. So literally I can say, go to my Dropbox account, pull all the stuff from there. My Google Drive, my OneDrive, our company doesn't, or the school doesn't allow us to connect that just as well. I don't really want to get involved in that whole thing. But here's the other ones. So you've got Notion, Outlook calendar, email, Teams, SharePoint, Box. I don't even know what some of these things are, but that's cool. And then personalization. Here we go. Do you remember I talked about just a minute ago, the scientist and the Steven Spielberg? This is it. If you enable customization, what it does is you can set the personality. Now, I don't like any of these myself. I just like the default. What I do is I come in here and I come up with my own particular type of things. So educational prompts, inventive prompts for classroom engagement, including interviews, debates, and discussions. Preferences, concise, logically structured. So what did I do to write this? Is I go to ChatGPT and help me. It knows everything about you because the context window literally is keeping a track of what you've said to it in little short snippets that it can summarize and tell you about yourself. You could open it up and say, take a look at my, and Google, you can open it up and take a look at everything I've liked in my browser. I would not do that myself. But anyway, then you can go down here and says, what would you like to be called? What's your occupation? 50-year photographer. Should probably say a 65-year-old man. And you can see there's a bunch of text in here, but write that elsewhere. More about me, senior professor, AI advocate, Upskill USA. So Upscale USA, and it should be Upskill USA. In fact, I'm going to change that right now because this is how I spell it. No wonder it's giving me the wrong ones. So even I look, so it's Upskill USA. In fact, I'm going to correct it. Oh boy, that's why it was giving me the wrong name for my company. That's what it's licensed under. So that's great. Okay. So I'm going to save that. So you can go in here and you can take a look at all of these customizations, including managing your memory. Ooh, what is that? Take a look at this. So here is a defined character, voice, and tone called the Dangerous Man. So this is from a conversation I had. I said, hey, so, and this is what I said to it. I said, this persona is morally grounded, eloquent, and unapologetically honest truth teller, inspired by figures like Andy Rooney. With less sarcasm and more danger, he defends storytelling, authenticity, community, intergenerational responsibility. He opposes greed, propaganda, and dopamine-fueled tech exploitation. His tone is Rolling Stone meets gospel sermon, invoking historical context, emotional resonance, and righteous indignation. Posts written in this voice will begin with the urgent call for cultural critiques and end with poetic calls to action rooted in justice and collective awakening. Invoking Dangerous Man signals to write in this style. So I literally said, bring out the Dangerous Man. And then everything I do from there is written in what you just saw. Oh my God, isn't that beautiful? And if you decide you don't want that, you can do that too. So what I do is what it said right here, invoking Dangerous Man. So do I want to be the Dangerous Man all the time? Heck no. I'm trying to talk to my boss about something else. Like, I'm in trouble for doing something. I did some some weird word that I said that got misinterpreted in class and I had to explain it. I don't want the dangerous man to come out for that. So I set it up as when I invoke it, that means I have to say it first. And then it goes on down. And these are things that I have. If there's certain quotes, have it collective every once in a while. You can delete them and come in here and delete the ones that you don't agree with because it's doing this autonomously. So it's actually doing that. So that's your marriage, that's your personalization, and that's your memory. And it's called manage. So that's the button you want to do. Reference, save memories, yes or no. So if you're trying to do a completely different thing you normally do, just turn these guys off. So chat history, and it can do quite a bit. Record reference history. So record it, and then advanced capabilities come on down here. Look at this. Web search, so it can actually look on the web and see what you do. Code interpreter. Canvas, collaborate with ChatGPT on text and code. Advanced mode, voice mode. Okay, that's cool. So the connectors and then the personalization are the two most important. Start with your security and data controls, and then your response. So I want to be notified because sometimes I'll send it on a mission. It'll take all day. So I might want to push that to let me know by email. And then here's how you pick how you are notified. Well, especially if I've got a long project, I definitely want that. What color and dark mode, who works in light mode? I mean, come on. And then you pick your voice, right? So, oh my God, I just drew it because I love a British accent for a woman. And so Val is my favorite. Yeah, don't hate. I'm a lonely man. All right. So what do you do when you get here? Well, first, take a look up here. These are the modes that you have. If you set it to auto, it's going to say, if you ask, tell me every copyright law that has been in the courts that's precedent setting in the last 20 years. That's a big, deep think, right? If you want to go to $200 a month, you can go up into here. But this deep think will think for literally, I've had it come back to me the next day with answers that were exquisite. If you really want the best, though, Grok is the deepest if it's social media related because it's trained on social media. That's for another day. Thinking Mini. So you got little quick questions. Shall I use this suntan or that suntan? I mean, instant answers right away. In fact, if it's doing deep thinking, there's a little button that'll show up and say, hey, I don't want to take that long. And so I need a quick answer. And you just hit the quick answer and it stops doing its deep dive, right? So, and this is a legacy thing. So the compute time, especially if you're using it for free, you might want to go to the old models, especially if you're asking, should I take acetaminophen? Is it really going to give my kid autism? Come on, please, folks. Don't believe those idiots, no matter how many times they repeat saying that. It ain't true. It's a lie. Oh, my God. Anyway, okay. So then off to the left, and this is pretty cool, a new chat to start up there. But don't do it. I'm going to tell you, this is the secret sauce right here. This is the stuff you're paying nothing for. The library. So searching chat. So if you want to find something and it's common, you can't find it. And I'll show you a trick how you can always find it. Library. This is every image that I've made. Whoa. In fact, it takes a long time just to go through these. You can see what, so I'm teaching a photography class. So, and I want to learn how to tell it what a pan and a zoom are, right? And then I'm doing split lighting. So this was for my photography class, and I wanted to have it show what I was just teaching. So here's the thing that was, it got horror lighting. You put the light underneath the chin. Rembrandt lighting is 3/4 lighting with the shadows off the left. Split lighting is lighting half the face. So it made this sketch. And then, so if I go to that particular chat, so it's cool that every single image, there it is. Yes, a sketch of each of these lighting. So this is my question. So I can go right back to where I was and keep on going. I can copy this right here. If I go to an image, I want to download it. Always download here, especially from Gemini. Don't right click because you get a higher resolution if you download from this button. There you go. What are the other pictures that I had in this sequence? Right there. What do I do to get back to my text? Right here. And then this is a big, long, all day thing. You know what this is right here? And this is cool for educators. If you've got an iPhone, go to the, what's it called? Maybe I'll do this another time. But in fact, I'm going to be including this. Go to your voice memos. This is a 2.5-hour conversation, a lecture that I did that day in class. You can see every bit of it. So I went into voice memos. I just turned on the recorder, walked around the class, talked to everybody, and that's just the two, right? So this is literally it's 100 pages long, and I'm not even joking. You can see what it is, right? And then I said summarize it. Guess what it did? So I had a student who was on holiday because she was Jewish, and she wasn't going to be there. So I said, let me just record this, and it said the power of light and perspective, introducing photography. So I was actually pretty profound and very verbal about it. Split lighting. Here's the depth. Where do you use it in film noir, horror, dramatic portraits? Like this was a master class in photography, and it even broke it down to what I said about storytelling and stuff. Butterfly lighting. Why do you use it? Classic Hollywood glamour for symmetrical faces. Blah blah blah. So this is the answer, and then it made these because what I do is I say, what do I want to do? What do I want you to do, Wes? I want you to summarize everything and put them into beautiful notes that I literally did all this on my phone, by the way, folks. My iPhone in classroom. Literally, I stopped talking. I go up to the three dots in the right-hand corner of that recording, copy the transcripts, went over to Gemini or ChatGPT. I think I did this here. Paste and say summarize and tell me. And I said there's four things that I thought were most important. That I said I'm a photography teacher. I just did a whole seminar on lighting, what it means and what it's all about. Pull any quotes that you think could be useful. I'm writing a book about photography that I want to have every little insight that I've had from my 50 years of photography. This is actually what I said to it. That's present within that document. And then I come up here and I go down to that list and I copy and paste the results. So there's all this right here. There you go. Copy. And then what I can do right now is go over to, in fact, I'm going to do it because I didn't do this in the last meeting. I'm going to do it right here. So here I am, Google Drive. I create a Google Doc right here, blank document. Oops, I didn't mean to create a folder. I want to create a Google Doc, blank document. Okay, and I hit paste. There it is. Here's the parts. Here's the Rembrandt lighting. Here's the butterfly lighting. Here's the field card. Literally, this is, I don't know how many pages this is. 7 pages. And then here's the designer's mantra. Big, medium, small, dark, medium, light, wide, medium, close, gesture, mystery, humor, always the decisive moment. Photography is not just worth 1,000 words. With the right light and perspective, it can be worth millions because it changes what people feel, believe, and remember. This is literally a book I could publish right now. And all I did was talk with all of my information. Holy cow. Okay, getting back to it. So now I told you there's going to be a secret thing I'm going to do. So I'm not going to go into the other things. That's just the library, right? And this is how I find my way around because I'm a visual learner, right? So if I want to find something, I go back to, yeah, here I am creating this graphic that you see at the beginning of the show. This is the old one, right? How did I do that? I come up here and say, open up in chat, and you can see exactly what I did. And to make that image, make the image, right? And I came up here and I loaded a picture. Yeah, here we go, 16:9, dangerous band. So this is the words. This is from the prompt. There was the first attempt. And see, you got the text in the wrong place. So I critiqued it, told it that's not good. And I stopped it. And there's another one. I didn't look so good there. I looked too angry. I think I need to smile on the next one. And what fonts I wanted to use, because I kind of knew some things I wanted. This is what it suggested based on what it knows about me. And this is what I did. Upload a picture of Brandon. There's myself, 2 different pictures. And I wanted to be this guy. So crazy AI guy, Brandon. And so I'm speaking these words, by the way. So you see Brand Tibbs, and it got Brandon later. Many times I should do better because I'll talk as fast as I'm talking right now many times. So, and then it gives me a whole script. So this is actually one long stream that went on forever, and a song idea. Hey, it's Rick the AI guy, the foil and the fun, right? So this is how I wrote that song you heard at the beginning, and Brandon's made the new one that you just heard lately. All right, let me go back, and this is super important because where am I? I am in a folder. They call them project folders. If you didn't know this, this is the most important thing I'm going to say right now. Every project that you do that's different than every project you otherwise have, create a project folder. I'm going to make one just right now to show you how easy it is. In fact, let me do one about, oh, you know what? Investing. I haven't done investing. Okay. And then I'd like to keep the project's instructions. Create the project. Guess what happens? It then comes in here and I can add files. So I can upload 20, 30 megabytes. I can upload all my financial stuff. Again, you must pay for it if you want your privacy intact. So I'm not going to load up all my financial papers in there, but you could if you paid for it. And there's been audits of all of this. Right now, it's probably pretty darn safe to do that. And I have done it. I would delete the file right after tax season or whatever I'm doing with it and upload it again. But you can upload images and code and whatever you want. And to show you what that looks like, here's AiTv. Here's 13 files. So these are the ones. So the social media, billion views, AI hospitality, Dangerous Man document, Steven Spielberg guide to film. So you can see the different documents. These are mostly docs or PDFs, PNGs. You can do that, right? So here's Brandon's picture. So one of them that's his LinkedIn, I think, right? And then, so all of these are in there. Why is this important? Because when I'm in this room, this is a folder with my grounded truth. Whenever I ask a question, so this is what I asked today, and I wanted to make emojis, and I forget what I was doing here, but oh, here we go. So I kept getting the wrong stuff, and I wanted it to write these headlines. So I said, I laid it out and just gave me the text, because what it had done, it said, you'll see this a little bit later. So the multidisciplinary hat is using all 5 of those simultaneously. So I wanted it to basically define what a fire starter hat is. There's 5 hats, and then there's the multidisciplinary hat that sparks urgency, provocation to grab attention. So it's social media posting for writing viral, unfiltered social media posts, right? And then the prompt is going to be write a LinkedIn post. So this is a real prompt that we could actually do right now, I guess, right? I don't have that document right handy, but so why are the folders so important? Because when I come over here, and we're going to do GPTs at the end of this, I have all these projects. I work for Adobe. There's all the stuff for them. Here's my life force situation. So this is all about my diabetes, health issues, ketones in my diabetes, anti-dementia protocol. Is my weight, blah, blah, blah. Anti-diarrhea protocol, yes, but is my weight fate or choice? So what's it loaded up with? All of my stuff that I have, a pitch book for doing this, Dr. GPT book that I wrote. So, and everything I put in there is this. So this is for me and my health. And I do things like my book, Grok. This is these are a dozen books, and here's chapters. And so there's a 300-page chapter, Machine of Loving Grace, the Grok Trilogy Bible. So this is a PDF, and I could go here. I don't think I can open it here, but I've loaded everything that's pertinent to it. So every question I had, it keeps that in memory completely, just like Google Notebook LM. And then I was working on a mural, and then I was asking, and this is coming up soon. I hope that this happens. I was asking about the enduring role of artists, and so create a project folder for everything, because your base prompt down here. So when we came down here and we personalized it, so it knew who we are as a complete human being. So it knows if you're married or not, if it knows whatever you tell it, and you're doing it. Literally start with a chat where you come up to the top, new chat, and say, let me tell you everything about me. And then when you say, I need just a 2-paragraph synopsis, so when I'm coming up on stage at this next keynote I'm giving, that they know everything about me they need to know. Well, it's got all the versions. In fact, I've done over 60 of these. Sometimes they want a page-long piece for the front of my book or something, so it's all about that. And each one of my different personalities is separate. So I was talking about China and decoupling and the North Star and all these projects, Norman Rockwell. Oh, these are quotes. Oh, here we go. This is what I did. So I asked for a button so that for the episode today, I was creating the pictures. So here we go. So I had it create 10 outrageously detailed copy and paste ideogram prompts. Each is fully mashed with what's on screen to the description. Okay, so here we go. So I basically told it what we're going to talk about tonight. And then I copy this. And then I go over to ideogram. And you can see these are some of the things that I did ideogram from those prompts. So you can see some of the stuff that I did today. Okay. Ideogram, the bomb, and with text
Hey,
especially.
boss.
Yep.
Just a quick time check. We're
Okay.
coming up at 20 till top of the hour. I know you like to keep these tool time segments to about 30 minutes.
Yeah,
So
we'll
just
do
wanted
that.
to
All right.
keep
Thanks
you
a
a
lot,
quick
Brandon.
time.
Yeah. And so what I do here is I just go and I make it. In fact, it's so fast that you can watch it happen. So I'll go in there and I'll act as a director. So when I get over here and it's a little bit too cartoony, I'll say, hey, this prompt, which is right over here, we're going to do a whole day with this in the future. So it's Norman Rockwell mixed with Shepard Fairey. That's the prompt, right? And then I could go back and do all kinds of the stuff. So we'll do a whole day in here. But the basic thing I'm doing, and here's what we got. Take a look at that. So this was about they've doubled down. They're making more drones than there are human beings in China. and 1.7 billion, I think they're doing million, whatever it is. Anyway, it's crazy. So that's how I work. Let me go back to ChatGPT now. And let me go to the next phase. So here's stuff I've been working on. This is a story that I found in the news. And we'll get more into the image making. In fact, I think I'm going to back off of this for now. But in every conversation, you can always get back to it and know where you were. All right. Couple of more things just so you get the idea. So the other thing is GPTs. What the heck is a GPT? Any of you out there that wants to know how to do something, let's say you're not very good at image making. Here's a bunch of people that made these little GPT architecture. Oh, I'm dealing with the architecture professor at Broward College, and we're going to have a whole meeting. Help me design my dream home. Okay. And a cover letter. Oh, this is a directed conversation. So I'm going to start the chat here. Help me design my dream home. Aha. I want to make a house up in the mountains, and I love steampunk. Can you make me an image of a house that's sort of steampunk design? I need it to have 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, and look like it belongs in the environment, but it's sort of a spooky place, like in Transylvania, but it's got a steampunk vibe to it. How would I make it look like it's sort of bronze and things like that? So can you make an image for me that looks like it's up in the big giant mountains and maybe there's snow around? It's in the evening. I'd love to see what that looks like. Okay. So now this is probably not the way this bot was intended to be made, but guess what? It's got an image making model in there, so it'll generate this. In fact, you just tell it what you want and the more detailed. So I could have designed a Barbie house with the steampunk is kind of my thing. And then if I uploaded a picture of myself, it would then. Now, what I will tell you is that ChatGPT takes 3 minutes to do what Ideogram just did in 30 seconds. Okay. So you're sitting there waiting for it to cook. While I'm doing that, I'm going to go over elsewhere and we're going to take a look at this one. This one is a GPT that I created myself. And I said, and this is called the photo critique model. So it's a GPT. So GPTs are, here's a course design wizard. Here's a writing coach, philosophy through film. Oh, this is one I created too, right? So I said, choose a philosopher. Tell me what 2 major philosophers would say about the Matrix. In particular, the part where people didn't realize they were in the Matrix. And when they found out, they were disturbed. Are we in the Matrix today with social media? Tell me what philosophers might say in a modern day contextual way. I'd love to hear from Plato and his allegory of the cave, for example. Give me just a paragraph from each of the 2 best philosophers you think that have discussed this, and tell me what philosophy they spoke of that would align with this idea of my interest. Cool, right? So I'm asking it. So I created this great question. Is a gold mine of philosophical reflection, the illusion of reality versus illusion, comfort, right? So it goes into there and it starts to. So the philosophy professor inspired me to do this because I love it, right? So here's what it does. You go and then you say, I've got a problem. I play soccer all the time, but all my best friends, this is a real story. a 20-year-old kid, and they're inside playing games, they're on social media, and they don't want to come out and play. Well, guess what? That's the same story right here. So first, you learn about Plato allegory of the cave from 380 BCE, and then you go, and then it says, and here's the simulacra. So yeah, here's another one, right? And then you're learning about the philosopher. So instead of old white dead guys being there, want to go deeper with them? Yeah.
Hey,
So
Rick.
I play soccer all the time and I'm outside. What would they have to say when my friends want to stay in all the time? How could I convince them to come out? How do I tell them they're living in a dark, really unfulfilling place? What's the best way to social engineer to have them come out and play? Because I know once they do, they'll be out there playing and I'll have a good time because I need a team to play soccer. Just kicking a ball around is not enough. Tell me in the voice, in the style of how they might have answered this if somebody in their tutoring class would have asked.
Well,
Okay.
that's answering. We do have a
So, what a
question
thoughtful question.
from
Okay.
the
So, here
live.
we go.
You,
So, speaking as your tutor, right? And then I could go in here and turn on the audio. Should have done that to start with, right?
hey, Rick,
Let me see if I could pull that up.
Rick,
Yeah.
Rick.
We're running out of time.
We had a question from the YouTube audience while that's generating.
Sure. Yeah.
For the books that you have one project per book, but you're not actually uploading the final product. You're just using that as kind of that research base, right? So I guess if you could talk to us about once you iterate with ChatGPT inside the project, what do you do with that output
Oh yeah.
to translate
So
it to a final book?
many of my books. So I'm working on 7 books right now and a play. More than happy to go over that again and again. But the PDF. So what I'm offering to everybody here is each one of my 30 minutes. So if you come back, they were simply inside their plugged-in seductive simulation, TikTok games, and infinity scrolling, all engineered to make you feel better. You cannot argue them out of it. You must out-simulate the simulation. Make your reality more tempting. Post a clip of your best goal, laughing with friends, staging a soccer challenge. Make the real game look like the simulated one, but with a real win, real bruises, real triumph, and they'll come. So I say offer them a beer because this kid was drinking age. And that's probably the solution. But yeah, there you go. So this kid who didn't care about old dead people all of a sudden learned about Plato's cave, and the allegory of the cave. So that's basically what. Oh, use your microphone. I see what's going on. So allow it. So that's why it didn't come up there. But I actually had it speak through the entire newscast for me, and the voice is pretty cool. Hey, how are you doing today?
We've lost your screen share, Rick. I'm doing great, but I'm thinking you probably want
Can you hear
us
me?
to be seeing what the AI is doing.
Can you tell me about Plato's cave and the allegory and the soccer boy that I was just talking about?
Hey, Rick, we've lost your screen share.
Oh, okay.
So I would love to tell you about it, but I think you want to hear the AI's version.
Yeah, so that's basically it. I think I landed the plane pretty good there. I think I covered almost everything. There's certainly a lot more to learn, and then evidently next week they're coming out with a new version. So stay tuned. And I didn't get into coding. I didn't get into anything else. This is my use case. If anybody wants to come up and help us with some more stuff, that'd be awesome. So what I'm going to be doing with each one of these, so that's Notebook LM, Perplexity, and ChatGPT. So I'm taking the PowerPoint you just saw here. Each one of the PowerPoints I'm going to add Notebook. I've got about 17 notebooks I'm going to open up to you. The one on copyright, the one on Palantir, the one on whatever. Then you can go inside my notebook, see how it's constructed, play around in there because it's a shared environment and I want to share with you. So I'd love to see what you're going to get out of it. So that's my offer to you. And I'm going to do the same with ChatGPT. So it's the PowerPoint. It's a bunch of links. It might be some pictures. So I'm usually my decks are about 30 or 40. Now, here's what I would love to have happen. I'd love to have you guys posting your own to me, and then we'll put it on that. And then the eventual website will be basically every single application. I plan to do about 30 of them. Each ideogram is going to be 30 minutes. Everyone's going to be edited by Brandon down to a tight little package. And so you watch something for 30 minutes and you walk away with some knowledge. And then I will transcribe the notes and put them in a nice little package, add the PowerPoints with the visuals. You can see that. So if we add back to the screen, um, so these different things, and it will be correct. The text will be correct on this. So you'll see where I'm going with it. But basically, by taking your prompt, so you could actually copy and paste this text right off the PDF that you get, and you can go try it yourself. So the one I didn't talk about is, what do you do if you want all those perspectives? So this is the Leonardo da Vinci style thing, right? He would draw from life and then he'd make a helicopter out of it. I mean, he was just a brilliant person. To be really powerful in the AI age is to think like a scientist with scientific method and discipline, is to think like a jazz musician and just vibe code your way into just beautiful next steps through your intuition and the way you think. Thinking differently in the AI age is a superpower. Social and emotional intelligence. So you're going to use that fire starter to influence people and to convince them. You're going to use your detective hat to go in there and find the annotations and the citations. You're going to use that social engineering. You're going to use all of these hats because your prompt is going to be explosive headline for the emojis and hashtags. Detective is citation-based evidence. Scientist is data points and testing. Empathetic voice from the people reader. So that's what I'm suggesting you do, is that approach AI. So here is a really cool one, and I think this is worth the price of admission right here. These are just some of the apps that I've used, that I use every single day, and I'm subscribed to all of them, so I'm paying. But here's just a couple that I suggest that you think about. Claude is definitely the silver-tongued devil. I think that's just beautiful, right? Andrew Dice Clay, yep, he's grok. It'll get nasty with you. So I was writing my book in ChatGPT, which I start in ChatGPT on the Grok book. It's about the first book is about the Donald Trump era and how it's been an AI in the background is fighting over the world, and we basically been manipulated by an AI. Anyway, so we'll talk about that another time. But I start in there and I get all the news and stuff, right? And I structure my book and the story arc and everything. Then when I go to write it, I go to Claude, because Claude is the most human, beautiful language speaker ever. In fact, I've literally taken the same prompt from every one of these large language models, and Claude is the silver-tongued devil. It's your ghostwriter. If you're writing a beautiful song to your wife, go there, baby, because it's Lou Rawls, baby. It's gonna say, yeah, it is just silver-tongued. Okay, if you want a library of everything, Google Notebook LM. Perplexity is your search engine. Why? Because it goes and finds everything and brings back the citation. It's Sherlock Holmes with receipts. I love that line. Sherlock Holmes with receipts. And then if you want to do something like a movie, then you use them all, because they each got their super. I like to use Steven Spielberg is my go-to for ChatGPT, because as you saw, I prompted using ChatGPT, but it takes 3 hours to make one image. And then I just copy and paste 10 different versions over. Or what I've done lately, which is really cool, is, in fact, I'll show you. How are we doing on time? Are we there yet?
We are right there. So
Right there. Okay.
This will be it.
Yeah. Well, I'll do it next time, but remind me, and I'll show you Manus. So I basically did everything in Manus. So I take 20 prompts and I say make 16 by 9 images out of it. It does just as good at Ideogram. It's using Flux, actually. And I come back after lunch, and there they are waiting for me. So these are your different personalities. Here's Gemini. And this will be part of the downloadable here. And it's, you can kind of see, and it is kind of that. It's really, kind of egghead and a little bit, and then Andrew Dice Clay and Elon Musk, that's definitely Grok. And I'm going to be replacing these with the actual logos because I want to make this really fun. And then I like this about Perplexity. I like that it is a mixture of experts. It's people that know a lot about everything. And Leonardo and Carl Sagan definitely are those two people, right? So that's kind of it. That's it for tonight.